What's up, Wargamers, and happy Orktober to you guys. We are excited to be previewing what's inside the box of Speed Freaks. So, by now, if you're a 40K follower, you've certainly heard about 8th edition Orks coming out with their own official codex for pre-order starting tomorrow, which means that you'll be able to start playing Orks legally in 40K in a more competitive style starting next week, although there's been some conjecture that the Ork Codex makes Orks the most financially expensive army to play in the entire game. But I think they already were with the Index anyways. So with Index Xenos, I think they already were the most expensive army dollar-wise to play. But let's go ahead and dive into Speed Freaks. We've got a copy of it here on hand. And I've only briefly looked at the box, but sadly, like all the really cool dividers they put in there, and basically I consider these art prints. I've been sticking those on the wall back here. Let me go ahead and show you guys. If you look in the corner, up in the wall, I've been framing these box inserts, but it seems like I've had bad luck lately, and a lot of them are coming through punctured with the sprues in multiple areas and stuff, but still really cool that they're including these. This is way better than just tossing in a regular plain divider. And then on the back side, it's got the Speed Freaks logo. So we're going to kind of do a quick down and dirty. Got my hands on a copy of it, but this is Speed Freaks for you. And it is very heavy, despite the fact it doesn't sound like a lot comes in the box. They purposely kind of made it look like the lid won't close. That kind of drives a few people nuts. But the top lid is shorter than the bottom lid, and I don't know. That's just kind of an orcish thing to do because it almost looks like it was haphazardly put together, or that they're trying to make it. I mean, this thing weighs pounds. Trying to make it seem like it's so chock full because it is. So. Out of the box, I swear. So let's go ahead and take a look. And inside we've got plenty of colored plastic sprues. So it comes in a nice ketchup red and honey mustard color for your orcs to denote probably the bad moons and then the evil suns. I may have got that wrong. And then you've got colored, like brown colored scrap heaps. So these are of course brand new obstacles / terrain that's new to the box. Most of them are like scrapped vehicles and things like that. It makes a great junkyard. I always kind of think of the Ork vehicles as being something like Junkyard Wars anyways. So this is just really cool that they've got some walls, some trash heaps, and things like that. They're really going to be obstacles for you to avoid in the game, more so than cover, because of course it's Speed Freaks. You're going to be moving around in the game. So half of the box, which means 3 bikes and one of the vehicles, they're going to be colored red right out of the get-go. The bikes are nothing new. These are the standard kits that have been out for a while for like $41.25, whatever the going rate is that we covered on a previous video. So nothing new, nothing exciting there other than the fact that it's Orks, man. So you've got it. And if you are a completist that has to have it in colored plastic, well, there you go. And then you're going to get the same thing in yellow. So there you got your nice little golden, aka honey mustard, whatever you want to call it. And so these came out in 2007, which sounds like a long time ago, but in my gamer life, what was that? That probably means that these came out in like 6th edition, 5th edition. Did anybody even play 6th edition? I don't even remember. I don't think I played 6th edition. I think I went straight from 5th to 7th or something like that. Like there's a time warp there, Back to the Future style. So one of the new vehicles comes in yellow, one of the new vehicles comes in red, but they're different. And I didn't dive into whether one was the Shokkjump Dragsta or whatever the case may be, or whether there's multiple ways to put any one particular vehicle together, because obviously I haven't put them together yet. They're still sitting in the sprue. You guys will be able to pick this up here shortly. You get bases for the bikes, and then you get bases for the trucks, for the vehicles. So these are like Titan-sized bases. Don't remember the exact dimensions. Probably says so underneath, but no, it doesn't. So it's cool. I like the fact that they come with bases. Make it a lot easier to measure than measuring from the whole of a scrap heap style vehicle. But inside the bag, you're going to get a sack of dice. You got some for the red player, some for the yellow player. And then you get 1 dice that actually has numbers on it. And I think this is cool that Games Workshop is doing a symbols only dice set. Kind of like Dust, things like that. Games that only have the dice with the symbols on them. The reason being is that orcs can't read, so how's an orc going to know how to play if they have to read the dice? And I think that's perfect. So it's all symbols. In fact, the rules should be like spelled out like IKEA, with like a person or a Fallout style like that. So here inside there is rules for the Mega Scrapjet, the Shokkjump Dragster, presumably more of the vehicles, but let's go ahead and take a quick look. Only 2 of the new vehicles come in the box, as well as 6 of the bikes, but there will be more vehicles coming out, and I had heard that they're going to be 45 bucks a piece. I don't know if that was trade value, meaning like the price that your store pays, or that's going to be retail value, but there will be more for pre-order here in the very near future. So on the war cards, there's the Mega Scrapjet, the custom Boosta-Blaster, Boom-Daka Snazwagon. I'm doing a horrible job holding these up there. The Shokkjump Dragsta, the Def Killa War Trike, that's not in the box, the Rucka Truck Squig Buggy. In 40K terms, this vehicle looks legit. Warbiker among Warbiker among Warbiker. So there should be multiple cards for Warbikers in here, at least 6 of them. But these are the rules, not for 40K, but these are the rules as they go in Speed Freaks. So that's a quick snapshot. Feel free to hit the pause button and analyze those if you want. Then you're going to get a sample chapter of a Dan Abnett novel from Black Library. I don't read. I must be an orc at heart. I read numbers and symbols, so this game could be perfect for me. Damage cards. So, like Fantasy Flight playing X-Wing, just, oh, I caused 2 damage to you? Let me pull the cards. And then I don't know if you flip them over for criticals. I'd have to read the rules, but we just covered the fact that I don't read. So, upgrade cards. Got some little knobbies on the back. Now this is part of what I think is going to make the game cool. So these are your, what they call dashboards, and you're going to play by putting dice into any one of these 3 dials. So when you're playing, you've got your 10 dice, your 10 red dice, your 10 yellow dice. At least that's what you start off with. I don't know if you lose those for every vehicle that dies, or if as the game progresses and you start losing vehicles, if those 10 dice just get divided up more amongst the vehicles that are still on the board, meaning that it becomes an accelerated, faster and deadlier game in the final rounds. I'll figure that out here shortly, because this definitely is a game I'm going to pick up. Well, I picked it up. It's definitely a game I'm going to be playing. But, so what you do is, these are the dials where you take your 10 dice. For every vehicle that's alive, so if your buggy's alive and your 3 bikes are alive, you'll have to put at least 1 dice apiece in this dial, and that's to activate them. But you can put more than 1 dice per vehicle here if you want a chance to be able to activate sooner than your opponent. I'm not sure exactly on how that works, but basically think of it as like the initiative. That's your cunning, I believe. And then you have your speed dial. So this is going to be the faster, more gubbins, more pieces of track you can put together to lay out how fast they go. So you're going to have to creatively take your 10 dice amongst 4 vehicles and spread them out and put some into just activating, some into speed, and some into shooting. So clearly, because you have to allocate a resource, the faster you go, the less shooting dice you get. And the more you shoot or the more fast you go, the less cunning you're going to get. So it's a balance, but of course to shoot people, you need to put dice in this pool. To drive faster, to ram them, to get out of people's way, you're going to need to put more in this for maneuverability and for overall speed, and so on and so forth. And there's a blind. So behind this, it's done Dungeon Master style rather than being done with X-Wing dials. And your opponent's going to see the driver of your nice little Speedwagon, your REO Speedwog on. Get your Speedwog on, as they've been saying. I keep thinking of REO Speedwagon. They're not going to see it as you're placing the dice, so you'll do like a sleight of hand, try to make people think you're putting more dice in one pool than the other, trying to do a fake shell game with them. And then you'll reveal your turn and then say, oh wow, I didn't realize you put 5 dice in the shooting pile, I'm so dead now. But you don't know what your opponent's doing, so it's going to put a bit of uncertainty into the game. Now this is a comic book sized assembly guide, so this has probably got a bit of hobby in here. This is new to me. I mean, I literally opened the box and went, wow, cool colored plastic, I got to show this to my guys here. So assembly guide. These vehicles are a bit more technical than putting together your old Ork buggies that you really didn't need an instruction manual to put together. This is more like a Lego assembly guide. There could even be options for weapons, I would imagine, for putting these guys together, but it seemed like at the back there were rules for 40K. So hey-oh. Go ahead and pause that. No points though, just power levels. That's the Shokkjump Dragstas. That's the custom Boosta-Blastas. That's not focusing. There you go. Go ahead and pause that. Get your rules on. And then there was a painting guide back here, but wait, Billy May style, there's more. What's the rules for war bikes in 40K? There you go. How about that? Moving on to the Shokkjump, Dragsta, and French. Only what's in the box. Okay, so 2 vehicles and war bikes. It's not going to be all of the ones that had the cards for the game, so c'est la vie, since it was French, right? And speaking of which, I think I'm heading to Montreal next week, so I'm doing a business trip. If anybody's up there, just say so. If I end up going up to town, then you know, maybe we can go out and get a slushie or something like that. Whatever you guys do up there in Montreal. There's a painting guide. Yes, there's going to be plenty of Wog flesh, lots of Evil Sun's yellow, lots of all that stuff. What else would you paint them, right? So, what do we got here? This one's a glossier, more heavily considered book. Start your engines. Okay, let's hope the rules are this short, because if the rules are this short, I can read them. And as long as they type them out slowly. I hate when people type fast because I have trouble reading it later. We'll let that sink in. Oh my goodness. This is... Okay, I found the culprit. This is why the box is heavy. This is it. So rather than having like a kill team map, you get the Encyclopedia Britannica sized thing of hard 1/8 inch roughly, like particle board terrain. So some of it's rocks. So, yeah, you gotta glare at my screen, sorry about that. Some of it's scrap heaps, but that's pretty cool. It's heavy, man. I mean, you could throw that through your neighbor's window and make a statement if you wanted to. And last but not least, shrink wrapped up in here. Looks like there's like tokens and gubbins, as they call them. Ooh, this range rule is Orky. It's a 12-inch range rule. If orcs can count to 12, that'd be a miracle. It's also scratched off in Roman numerals next to it, just in case you have trouble reading. You might be able to count with fingers, toes, thumbs, and hands, whatever. I don't know, how many fingers do orcs have? 4? 3 plus a thumb? But there you go. You've got your tokens. You got your gubbins. So a gubbins is like a maneuver dial. And they're, of course, they're not straight because orcs would not take the most direct route. Oh, I lied. There's a couple straight ones. But these are essentially like the pieces you have to put together with each of your speed dice to be able to maneuver around the battlefield. So it's going to be tricky because you can't just freewheel it like you can in 40K and just measure and kind of point the vehicle in any direction you want to go. You got to kind of orientate this bad boy. They got 3-point turns and all kinds of stuff in here. So it's going to be nuts. But there will be more vehicles coming out, as we've seen, the Rucka Truck Squid Buggy, things like that. All of them will be playable in Warhammer 40,000 with their own unique rules in Warhammer 40K, as well as their own unique rules specifically for the game of WoG, the game of Speed Freaks. So, is it worth picking up? As a standalone game, of course. I don't think this is the type of game that the rules are... I mean, the rules could be given away for free, potentially. I can't see them charging for rules separately like they do for Kill Team. I picture this really just being a cash grab for heavily excited Warhammer 40K players and or Ork prospects. But let's say you're going to play Orks, and Speed Freaks especially. Then Speed Freaks meaning, you know, play a Speed Freak style list in Warhammer 40,000. 100% you're going to want to pick these guys up. But if you're just going to pick it up for a standalone game, that's actually to be determined, right? I haven't played it. I think it's going to be a very fun, non-competitive beer and pretzel style game. Although the game mechanics seem to be different than anything that Games Workshop has ever produced. So that could mean that it actually might be worth picking up as a competitive type game. If it plays anything sort of like the Ork version of X-Wing, then X-Wing is a heavily competitive game, and I've enjoyed playing that before. Of course, I like playing painted starships. But yeah, comment below. Let me know if you're getting the Speed Freaks box. Let me know if you're playing already Orks, or if this is something that's making you want to consider getting into Orks. And then, third, why? What's up, man? Is it just because it's fun, or what's your rationale? But I'd love to hear from you guys. Have a great weekend. This is Budget Wargamer.